as you heard, I'm Pinckney Benedict. I'm a professor. We're talking about AI, but I'm a professor in the creative writing program at Southern Illinois University, MFA and undergraduate. But I am also the recently appointed director of our newly created what we call CVEX, the Center for Virtual Expression, where the founding idea was that we were an AR/VR center, and that we would help. Our primary mission is to help liberal arts students and faculty to take advantage of. People are pinging me to tell me that they're watching our stream now. Thanks. Yeah, don't ping me. It's my family. They're just so excited. Pinckney's on TV. But when we've been working with various sorts of AI for about 3 years, do you think? Yeah. But when ChatGPT broke big about just over a year ago, our mission shifted to a certain extent, and we're doing a lot of AI projects now, and what we're doing and what I want to show you this morning is where AI and other technologies meet and what we can do with them. We have our primary collaboration, and the one that's paying for our operations right now is with the SIU School of Medicine. We are creating AI-driven avatars for medical students to interview, right? Like when the doctor comes in the door and goes, "Hey, how's your heart attack?" You know, "Oh, you're fine," right? We are giving them a sort of a sandbox in which they can learn to talk to people of various backgrounds, ethnicities, personalities, and that sort of thing. That's where we come in. We're creating characters for the medical students to meet. And I'm going to show you. Obviously, this is not a patient, although I wish she were. But I'm going to show you a version of what it is we're doing. But this is, rather than being a patient, she's a dream interpreter. And so we will talk to her. And this is Prime. Prime is a second-year MFA student at SIU. He is one of our graduate research assistants, and he is the graduate student director of the lab, one of our two graduate student directors. And he was an undergraduate at SIU, so we've been working together for a number of years now. And Prime was not an AI, you were not a technologist at all, really, beyond the music stuff. You know, you were not a digital technologist when you started in our program, right?
Yeah. Well, no, not at all. I mean, I have a super loud voice, so if I'm blasting your eardrums, sorry, but I have to keep doing it. So, but yeah, no, I mean, I was a musician, and I wanted to be a filmmaker and do, novels and stuff of that nature, but I quickly realized that I had, no money at all or any way to get my art out there. But with AI, you're able to create much higher level stuff with much less money. So, you can bring your fantasy series to life before even getting a single dollar.
Yeah, so, and what Prime says is also very important to our mission. SIU is in Southern Illinois, right? We say we're from Illinois, people go Chicago, but we're 300 miles from Chicago. We're down a very rural part of the state. We're very near the Missouri border and very near the Kentucky border. And our students are working class. And what we're trying to do is develop a sort of technological framework that is affordable for them, right? We call it micro production. Somebody just laughed at the fact that I told them not to ping me while I'm streaming. Technology is kind of hell sometimes, but it is our purpose not to train people to use software and hardware and AIs that won't be available to them after they graduate from the university. And so, but that idea of micro production, that we can make things that are small, quick, Maybe it's a come down from the novel or whatever, but I mean, you're a novelist as well. But we look at things like TikTok, right? Which is not, I think, a trivial platform, right? I'm sorry? No, it's great, right? And I mean, the best people on TikTok are as good as anyone in the world, and most of it is garbage, but most of everything is garbage, right? I mean, I apologize. Oh, really? I've been accessing it.
Yeah.
Okay, wow, that's weird. That's really weird. Why? It's, okay. Yeah, really? Okay, well, tell him no. That ain't right. Luckily, our governor is so far away. Like it's as my dad always used to say, God bless and keep the czar far away from us, right? And they couldn't care less.
He doesn't know Carbondale exists.
That's why people like us are in charge of the biggest AI lab on our campus. We don't know. But it talks to us now, right? AI talks to us now. Well, so let me take a minute. I know we want to spend as much of this time in conversation as possible. By the way, just in case you woke up on the wrong side of the bed or whatever this morning, this place is heaven. Like we are just speechless. Is that well? And we're almost.
At least you didn't wake up in
speechless.
Carbondale, right?
Yeah,
That's what we've been saying.
That something like this can happen on a Friday morning in this beautiful space. Like she scares me when she's 10 feet tall. Like this is how awesome is this? I just really you all are really doing a good job here. One of our missions on this trip was to find an aspirant center, right? Like a place that we could imitate, that we could sort of plan toward becoming one day, because we're very new, we're very small, this is it. Like this is when I leave SIU, I want this to be the kind of thing that we have built. So this is she calls herself Lily. The way the software works, but she is she's an AI dream interpreter. There's a lot of software running here, but the way she works is we have voice to text, right? So I talk to her, or you talk to her, whatever. What we say is turned into text. The text is sent to a large language model, which looks at the personality we've designed for the character, and then decides how that character would answer any question that has been put to it. It then formulates that reply. It sends the reply to 11 Labs. I think we're using 11 Labs for this one. Which is a text to voice translator. So its response gets translated into voice audio, and then the voice audio is sent to this animation platform, which animates the character based on, it lip syncs, and she has some limited gestures and stuff like that. This is obviously not meant to be realistic. Our medical avatars are quite realistic. But they're in a hospital setting and stuff like that. So, but this is sort of a version of that, but more calculated maybe toward artists or silly people. I felt silly making a dream interpreter, but I also enjoyed it. So we can show you just very briefly. Well, do you have dreams? Yes. Okay. Can you come up for a second? No, no, like literal, like, oh my God, my grandma's naked and has crab claws, like, whatever. Maybe
now we know what Pinckney dreams about.
I revealed too much. Yeah. I'm high on donuts. Like I ate so many donuts. I've got the donut sweats. I would stay here just for the donuts. So if you'll just we're gonna press a button, and then you just talk to her here, and she'll respond, right? And if you want to, yeah. I mean, she's looking at you through the webcam, and she's listening to your voice, okay? And if I step away, will you pull your mask down? I'm sorry to ask that, but just so it's a little clearer. But I will stand clear. Okay. So when I hit this button, you'll see it go gray, and she's listening. Oh, well, there we go.
Hello, Lily. I had a wild dream last night.
My darling dreamer, how thrilling to hear that you had a wild dream. Pray, do share the details with me. Picture it now, as if we were in a whimsical dreamland, where reality and fantasy dance together in perfect harmony. Let your words take flight and transport us to the realm of your wild dream.
All right. So in my dream, I was packing a bunch of boxes, and I was stacking them, and they
Oh, how amusing. Boxes, you say. Well, my adventurous dreamer, it seems that your dreams were preparing you for a grand journey. Imagine the boxes, stacked high and teetering on the brink of excitement. Each box holds the promise of a new experience, a hidden treasure waiting to be unearthed by your curious spirit. And as you pack these boxes in your dreams, I can't help but wonder, did you stumble upon any unexpected surprises? Perhaps a box filled with joy, or a box that whispered secrets of the unknown. Oh, the wonders that await you, my dear dreamer. Your dreams are preparing you to embark on a marvelous adventure. Embrace the mystery and let the journey unfold.
The boxes sometimes spoke to me.
I need to tell her she needs to listen, because otherwise she'll pick up all of the sound around it. Okay.
The boxes were speaking to me like they were mouths.
Wait a second. I'm sorry. Let's try again. And just if it should be better than this, but as little pause as you can make, and if you can, and like you can tell her 10 things, but tell her 10 things one at a time.
Got it.
Is that, yeah. So this AI is so great that I have to train people to use it. All of this will get better, I promise. Yeah, our medical students are going to go into people, and they're going to go, so what's wrong with you, Mr. Primus? So here we go.
The boxes had mouths, and they were talking to me.
How fascinating. Talking boxes in your dream. It seems that your subconscious is urging you to listen closely to the messages and wisdom that surround you, even from the most unexpected sources.
One box told me to play with plants. One box told me to play with the plants.
Sorry. She's confused.
One box told me that I should play more with plants.
Dear dreamer, it appears that the talking boxes bestow upon you a green and leafy directive. What a marvelous suggestion indeed. Plants, my dear, are like nature's own little performers dancing to the rhythm of life. They bring joy, beauty, and a touch of whimsy to our surroundings. So, let's heed the advice of that chatty box and embark on a wondrous playtime with plants. Imagine yourself frolicking in a garden, twirling amidst a sea of vibrant flowers, and engaging in delightful conversations with each petal. Oh, the tales they could share. And who knows, perhaps your playful interactions with plants will spark a newfound creativity within you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, wait a second. I really want her to hear that. She loves praise.
Okay. Thank you very much.
So, my dearest dreamer, you are most welcome. It brings me such delight to journey through the realms of dreams with you. Remember, the world of dreams is a playground of infinite possibilities, where the ordinary becomes extraordinary and the unconventional becomes the norm. May your dreams be filled with wonder, laughter, and the sweet melodies of inspiration. Until we meet again, my enchanting dreamer.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So, and we're really, I realize this really actually works better than I hoped it would, because she's able to pick up what's coming over those speakers and interpret it. So it means that anybody who uses the mic should be able to talk to her. So that's pretty cool. I didn't realize that was going to work. Well, shall we go to Q&A now? Does that, that's our presentation. That's what we do. We talk to an octopus.
Thank you so much for being here. This is wild. What questions do we have in the room? I know there are lots. I'll be right there, Gustavo.
Hi, thank you very much for this. This is awesome. What inputs are you giving your model behind specifically this, but also the medical AI avatar?
As much as we want. We really, for the medical people particularly, we build full histories. Our primary guy right now is a guy named Randy. I feel like I know Randy well. I've talked to Randy for hours, and Randy has a rash on the outside of his upper arm and wants to know what's wrong. He has marital difficulties. He was an over-the-road trucker, or he is an over-the-road trucker, and his rash gets worse when he drives long distances. And what we try to do is supply enough of a framework so that the AI will give interesting but not crazy responses, unless we really want. And we're building lots of people who are resistant to being at the doctors, people who, for cultural reasons, have distrust of doctors and stuff like that. We're trying to build a very wide range of people. She talks, well, it's her personality, I guess. And her personality, I just said, you're a dream interpreter. And in fact, I used an AI to help me build, as we do. I used ChatGPT Plus, and if there's anything I can tell you to spend $20 on a month, it's ChatGPT Plus. Like, that is, you could not, for $20 an hour, you could not hire an assistant who could do anything like ChatGPT Plus can do. Do you want to talk a little bit about the creative writing aspect, like with the building the characters?
Yeah. Well, as creative writers, basically all we do is build characters and scenarios in our head all day to begin with. So what this allows us to do is you start with a disease, right? So if we have diabetes, and you have a wide way of thinking, how would someone with diabetes be most difficult or most easygoing in a doctor's office? So there's a large spectrum of personality traits that we're going to give these things. So if we want someone that's more difficult to go with, we're going to do someone who's lying, someone who's going through more in their life. And for us, it's literally just making characters like we would for any story. But you combine it with the domain experts in the medical school, and what we get is this combination of two different disciplines. And yeah, so it's very fun to create characters, and I'll do that all day, every day. And like Pinckney said, we use AI to prompt these AIs. And so we're making prompts that'll say, okay, so one thing I did once recently was, what would you be if you were a Vietnam, war veteran whose wife had left him? Give me that, what would that personality be like, ChatGPT? And then it gives me that. And then I take, okay, so you would be kind of sporadic. You might have some PTSD symptoms. And then I pinpoint those and focus on those for a longer period of time. So you save a lot of time by using AI to make more specific AIs.
Yeah, so we really are just using our storytelling chops. And it's our contention, first of all, that these things are a lot better when you have writers doing them. And second of all, part of what we're doing, and part of the med school's mission, I think, is not just to train doctors technically, but also to train them to, bedside manner, I guess you would call it, right? And so we're trying to build people who act like humans act. And it's a real difference for them. Like, they've never had this sort of experience before. And we want to expand this to many, many areas. We've also got a nascent relationship with the Justice Center at SIU Edwardsville, and we have a grant out now with them to fund our building a police interaction simulator. But ours, instead of being, you have your gun in your hand and you immediately start shooting, if you pull your gun in our simulator, the simulator is over because it's a de-escalation simulator. And so we're writing very difficult people, right? We're writing people, who are, who have various, mental difficulties and stuff like that. And so, so it really is, it's weirdly in our line. And the technology, like you don't ever have to build this, right? I mean, we spare folks that. And actually, like, this is so ridiculously easy to build now that I'm almost worried to show it to people, because it'll happen in ICAT, and next week I'll see you all are winning some prize. I mean, AI has made so much available to us, right? To language people, to artists, to image people.
I was just wondering which LLMs you are using now and which ones you've used in the past.
I apologize. I'm hard of hearing.
Which LLMs are you using? LLMs.
Well, the public LLMs we use, we're ChatGPT Plus. That's where we started, and I think we have 10 licenses or something like that the Dean's office has funded, and they're just in our lab. And our lab, by the way, is a gaming lab. Like, when I came here, I thought, oh my God, I should have brought our PS5. Like, I can't believe people aren't in here gaming all the time. We're also open we have the best PCs on campus, and people are welcome to come in and play games in between classes and stuff like that. But they also have ChatGPT Plus available to them. But we use, we play around with, the various, Bard, Google Bard, and the new Copilot, Microsoft Copilot, and that kind of thing. But we're most versed with ChatGPT. But we also are building toward, we want these avatars to actually be powered by a local LLM. And there's so an LLM, a large language model, or really what we're moving toward now is large action models, they're called, LAMs, but they run locally. They run on your local machine. And there are some quite compact ones, that you can run on, on quite a modest machine, but we've got some pretty powerful computers. And so we're downloading the 17 billion parameter, and we managed to brick one of our computers downloading a 70 billion parameter LLM the other day. Our undergraduate research assistant was so proud of himself because he managed to brick the most powerful Alienware in the place. So what we really want to do in the end is go to fine-tuning local models so that we have control over the models, and so that we have control over the data that goes in and out, because we're going to be dealing with some fairly sensitive stuff. And it also speeds things up, right? There's always going to be lag when we're using edge computing. Her words are probably coming from like Chicago. And even though the speed of light is very, very fast, it just takes a while for that stuff to happen. So we want to have that local, so we can just have it on the laptop, and the laptop could not even be connected to the internet.
Hi. For starters, thank you all. This was very fun, and good job on the live demo. Those are always complicated. So I have a few questions. Feel free to ignore anything. But for the medical model, I have a few questions there of, I love that you're speeding things up by using ChatGPT for the input, but thinking about user-centered design, you also want to keep users at the forefront and real people. And one concern I have with AI is the more AI puts data into the world, the more removed we get from people. So that's kind of one challenge I pose. And the other question I had with the medical model is, are you trying to teach the model to both look at the physical symptoms people are having and them as humans and how their lifestyle might be part of the diagnoses? And also, you said we should pay for ChatGPT. What do you use it for, and why should I pay for it?
Oh, I'll let you do the last. Well, so for the first question, what you're asking is, you're worried that the more we use GPT to have humanity and the humanities, like it'll like stretch out what we know as humanity, adding GPT. Well, that is actually exactly why we're here and why me and Pinckney really emphasize that we need artists and humanitarians to be the ones making these things. Because when I'm making a character, it's gonna be a human. It's going to seem like a real person making real mistakes. I'm very versed in mistake making, so it's gonna be a real person. But I can absolutely see someone who only knows GPT as it helps them do their science assignments. They wanna be an astronomer or whatever scientists do. And so if they're doing it, maybe it might verge into that, but that's why it's so important that we maintain kind of like a stranglehold on the simulation making. Does that answer your question? For the second one?
I think, so you were talking about how you're using AI basically to think about like a veteran's perspective, I think was the example you gave, and that you can generate all these different personas essentially very quickly, which I think is an amazing tool, but also I think there's that certain point that you also want to make sure you're talking to real veterans and like what's that sort of dynamic look like or challenge?
Yeah, well, so we've coined a phrase, domain experts, right? So I would never really, if I'm writing a war film, it would be very irresponsible for me to not, talk to people who have been in war and people who are actually dealing with those things. So it's the same thing for AI building. If we really wanted to, like, I was doing that particular thing for fun, just as like practice. I just make characters, and it's so much more accessible with AI. And so yeah, I mean, whenever we get down to like, if we do something, I think we're doing Alzheimer's next. Yeah, the irony of that. Yeah, I think we are doing that next. And so we'll be talking to people with that. And then we'll be saying, okay, what are your experiences? And then we put that into the GPT. We cross-reference it to some other stuff. But I would, like, honestly, I do believe, especially for me and Pinckney and the people in our lab, like, making sure that that doesn't happen is of top priority. Like that, we won't let it happen. We got you guys. And then, sorry, you had a second part of the question, did you?
We are at time.
No.
Feel free to continue all the conversations. We want to make sure we're honoring everybody's time commitments this morning. Thank you so much. This was wonderful. We'll be back here next week, again, talking in new ways about robots and collaboration and humans. So we'll be here, same time, same place, more donuts, more coffee. You all have a great weekend. Thanks again for coming.